mentioned something else in passing that I think is on a lot of practice managers' minds that I wanted to fill in. So you mentioned local SEO, right?
Hmm.
I don't have a lot of experience myself, even as a marketer, with local SEO. And certainly
Okay.
for a practice, I imagine there's specific nuances here that I might looking at. So could you give like a rundown of like what are some of how to phrase it? Maybe some of the most common mistakes, other than not doing it in the first place. Uh,
Uh,
your best advice on how to improve local SEO, given that, I imagine it's not at the top of the list in terms of time investment for practice
Mhm.
managers, but they still want to do it, right? So what's the way?
And back to what we were talking about before with maximizing time investment, there's a few key things that you can do that should not take too much of your time. So, uh, mistakes that I've seen, sometimes there's multiple locations for a practice under the same, it's called a Google My Business Manager. And the multiple locations definitely need their own Google My Business Manager, their own location set up to maximize visibility. So if someone's searching for, say, like an orthopedic surgeon near me, you want the closest location of yours to show up. And I know this is for a larger practice, and but that is something that we're seeing with larger practices that have a diverse local population and different locations. Certainly don't have that under just one location online. Uh, the other thing, and back to testimonials, that's really a low lift but high impact, is making sure that you have reviews on each of those Google My Business Managers. So uh, reviews, they're a little bit less important than they used to be, but that social proof is crucial. And having those great reviews on your Google My Business certainly help increase your visibility in the local SEO market, particularly if it's competitive. Uh, you know, Even very large hospitals do compete for local patient volume, and those reviews help with what shows up first.
Okay, I hear that. And do you have any advice specifically, for a practice that might be struggling to get these reviews? Like they know they have happy patients, but they just don't find the time to leave those reviews. Usually, sometimes there's some sort of incentives. I wonder if you have any tips for that.
I've seen some outsourcing cases where there's firms focused on review generation. There's entire companies that do this, where not only do they help solicit the review, but then they also respond to the review to double the engagement on each review.
Hmm.
But if you're just running a smaller practice and you're not ready for something like that, or that's not a major part of your approach, something you could do is just add that review link to some of your top patients' surveys. So if you're surveying your patients in any way, asking them about their experience, at the end of that experience survey for your top promoters, it's always great to serve that review link and let them know, hey, we greatly appreciate working with you. It would mean a lot to us if you could leave this review. And that's one way that you can make sure the folks that really care about the work that you're doing are the ones that are leaving great reviews for you. And really, it comes down to just asking people to do that. Not a lot of people, at least I know that I don't, think to review the different businesses they interact with on a day-to-day basis, particularly for, the majority of the population that is attending a lot of the clinics that we work with.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's hardly on top of people's minds to leave these reviews, right? So a little bit of a nudge, some reminder, or a clever way to make it just like a natural part of some other process, like a survey, that can really help.